Perfect.
Okay, so picking up kinda where we left off in the last one. I actually cut the last clip of the last video. I kind of cut it in half to finish it where I did, and I accidentally deleted that one. Sorry about it. But I think you get the picture. We got to build this bracket to put on our cross member that we're making. So we're gonna pick up with me drilling out the holes that go on our bracket. That's gonna attach our link bars to that main bracket that we got to build. Boy, that sounded a lot more complicated than it really is. So whatever, just watch me do it. Here we go. All right, now before y'all go to laughing at me for drilling, pushing these holes through with a 5/8 drill bit with a damn hand drill, I do have 2 drill presses. Y'all have seen them in the videos, but the thing about it is, when you got parts that are this small, I don't really have a good way to hold them in the drill press. I mean, I guess I could probably come up with something, but I'm gonna get I'm gonna give it a shot and see with a hand drill. It may work great. It may be a total train wreck, but I reckon I'm gonna jump on these tracks and find out. So this is either gonna be really funny and a huge success, or a complete failure. Not sure if I should go in low gear or high gear. We're gonna try it in low first, so let's see if it, hopefully it doesn't break my damn arm. Let's see. Shit, that wasn't bad at all. I got this. Yeah, buddy. Much better than trying to go in there and fight with that damn drill press. The drill press, my big drill press that I got right now, admittedly, it's kind of a crappy drill press. I bought it at Harbor Freight about 15 years ago, and it wasn't a great drill press then. It's still not a great drill press now, but it's kind of got the job done. One of these days, I'll go buy me a good one. Probably when that one dies. But, I mean, it is what it is. Ooh, that's trying to move, see? See, the key with these big drill bits is you gotta run them slow. As long as you run them slow, they usually won't overheat on you. Run them slow so they don't overheat. I have a drill bit sharpener. It doesn't go up to 5/8 though, so I have to kind of be careful with this. I've got another 5/8 bit. It's not great. Usually when 5/8, when I dull them out, I just have to go buy another one. I always wants to grab right before it punches through. I found that when it gets right there and it wants to grab right before it punches through, best thing to do is just back it all the way out and, you know, hammer it, and then just kind of let it kind of bite on through. That way it doesn't stop and grab up real bad on me. Last one, here we go. Alrighty then. Now, I'm gonna probably take a little flap disc and kind of hit the edges a little bit because they kind of get burred up. We'll clean them off with a flap disc right quick, and then we'll come back and we'll stick this thing together and tack it up. You know, I've got a nice workbench that I'm building to go in this area right here to get this piece of crap old Home Depot thing out of here, but there's never any time, right? got this joker all welded up. I'll be honest with you, it was kind of a pain in the butt to weld, to kind of get in there and be able to see it and be at an angle that I liked. It was a bit more of a pain in the butt than I really wanted it to be. I mean, I got it welded up good. It's all, I mean, it's super solid and all that. I mean, it was just kind of a pain in the butt. So nonetheless, I went ahead and kind of freshened up my line there because that dude was totally blue because it got hot. So I had to, leave for like 2 hours to let this thing cool off so I could touch it again. So let's see here, let me get our heim joint. So we'll kind of roughly set it up here in place. Like, I set it up here. Kind of the first thing that I notice right now is how far out off of the cross member the heim joints are going to be. So let's see here. Let's see what we're working with. I mean, I know, once I weld it, it'll be good and strong and all that, but I would say something else. You see that? You see how smooth that bad boy went in there? The way they got this thing set up where it goes in those little holes, really keeps it from moving so it doesn't close up any, so your heim joints fit really nice once it's all said and done. That is pretty sweet. For that alone, I might spend the money to buy this little thing. It's worth it to modify it because it's pretty easy to just cut it and modify it and make it what you want. So now, you see how high off of the cross member the heim joints are sitting. I've got plenty of room to get a nut and a bolt on it, right? Or to get the nut and the washer on it right here. I'm gonna cut this bolt down some. All TSC had was 5-inch bolts. I really need like a 4 3/4 inch bolt, so I just lopped 1/4 of an inch off of it, no big deal. But I've got plenty of room to get my nut on here, and I think it would look a little nicer if maybe I cut this down. Maybe if I took, I don't know, 1/2 inch to 1 inch. Let's see. So right there, I am 1.5 inches from the end of the threads. Well, actually, if I come up a little bit, I'm probably 1 3/4 to the edge of the threads right there. So I think it would be easier for me to get down in here to weld it if it were closer, and I kind of think it might look a little nicer, and I can add a little bit longer bar as well. I don't necessarily need a longer bar. I just think it would look better if it was a little bit longer, and this looked kind of gaudy if it's just kind of sticking out here like a big ass blob. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut some off of this thing. I may be screwing up by doing it. If I do, I got another one. And I will say, anything that I've ordered from this company, I got really, really fast. So if I screw up 2 of them, I'll just order another one. It's trial and error anyway, right? So what I think I'll do is I'm gonna measure up 1/2 inch. I'll come across it with my plasma cutter and I'll chop it off, and then I'll come in here and I'll lop those guys off. I don't know how pretty that's gonna be because now that it's all the way welded. This would have been a really good idea to do before I completely welded this guy in. I don't know why I didn't think to do that ahead of time, but it is what it is, right? We just make adjustments on the fly. It's a field adjustment. That's what it is. It's a field adjustment. So we're gonna make a field adjustment on this guy right here, and I'm gonna take a plasma cutter to it, and I'm gonna lop 1/2 inch off of it, and see what it'll look like. I kind of feel like I'm gonna want to take 1 inch off of it, but I'd rather take in small bites. That way, maybe I don't ruin it. If I take a small bite, and I can always take a little bit more if I should decide I want. But if I take too big of a bite out of it, then I'm screwed. So I'm gonna go here off camera. I'm not gonna make you watch me do that, and I'm gonna take 1/2 inch off of this, and then we'll come back and see if it sits on there and looks a little bit nicer. Whew, buddy. Okay, so look at that guy. Shortened 1/2 inch. I can say that was epic fail on my part in welding that up before being sure that was what I wanted to do, because that was a bit of a pain in the butt to do and just time that I wasted, for no reason when I didn't really have to. So what I actually did was I took a cutoff weld and a grinder, and I cut in on each weld right here on each arm. On each one of them, I made a mark 1/2 inch deep, and I just kind of cut in down to it, and then I made my mark along the top of it, cut along it with a plasma cutter, and kind of laid it open, and kind of whacked it off with a hammer, and came back and I cut the vertical pieces that were left. I cut them off with a plasma cutter, and that shot sparks everywhere and all over me and everything else, and it was really annoying. And then I had to kind of clean it up a bit with a grinder, which I hated doing too, because I really hate running a grinder. But there it is. It's all cleaned up. Let's sit up here and see what it looks like. That thing is super hot, so let me grab another glovey. All right, so let's see here. All right. Feel pretty good about that. Pretty well lined up there. So I know it's only a 1/2 inch, but I do think it looks markedly better. It would look better if it were cut down another 1/2 inch. I don't know that I really want to go through all that, to be just frankly honest with you. I don't know if it's going to look that much better to cut it down another 1/2 inch. It's kind of tough. Let's see what our bolt looks like here. See what kind of clearance we've got. Actually, we've got washer. Sure. Come on. All right. So still got plenty of room there to get a nut, washer, and whatnot in there. I could definitely go down another 1/2 inch if I wanted to. Actually, I think I'm okay with that. I think I'm gonna let that ride. So I think what I'm gonna do now is we'll go ahead and tack this guy in place, and we're gonna go set this thing on the frame and at least kind of start getting a little bit of an idea kind of what we're looking like here. So I'm gonna get her lined up and throw a couple tacks on it. All right, well, let's go stick this thing on this frame, see what it looks like. Oh, buddy. This guy's getting heavy. All right. I've got a mark on the frame here at the front of an old hole from a rivet head that I kind of like. Right now I'm kind of eyeballing this is where I want to mount it. Should have clearance for everything. At least we can kind of get an idea what we're looking like here. Come on, a little bit more. Not that it's got to be that perfect, but yes, my OCD is that bad. All right. Well, I'm not mad at that. That actually has a pretty good look to it. I have good clearance of my drive shaft because right now the vehicle is actually, it's at full bump right now, maybe even a 1/2 inch past full bump, and I've still got probably 1.5 inches of clearance to my drive shaft right here, and that's to the bottom of the cross member. So there's no way it probably will even be this low, let alone any lower than that. So got good clearance here. So the next important thing that I've got to come up with, I've got to figure out is how far out I can mount my link arm mounts here and what the actual angle is in relation to these arms, what this angle would be with the arms. Because what I'm looking for is a minimum of, because I don't have a lot of room, as you can see here, the frame ain't super wide because of the way that I'm trying to do it. So the minimum angle that I could probably get away with on these inner arms is going to be about 20 degrees of triangulation. So essentially I just need to basically, I need to set up kind of one of my mounts right here, put a heim joint in here, put one in here, straight line between them, and figure out what my actual angle is. Now I'm going to say if I can run straight into this right here, into this mount where it is, that I should be dead on balls because they've already kind of got the angle figured with the way this bracket was made. Now, just going to have to kind of, see what I get with that, a little bit of trial and error here. So I think I'm going to call it a day for day, but we'll come back in the next one and we'll work on trying to kind of figure out something on these upper mounts on top of the axle here to get this worked out. The outer mounts, I mean, they're easy. You just come off the bottom of the frame and go to the bottom of the stupid axle. Not a big deal. So this is the most important one and should be one of the most time-consuming things right here. So I do like where my cross member's located. Looks like I probably have, my arms will be decent length right there. As far as the angle on the bars goes, that's not really going to matter too much. It's steeper. If I come up closer, it makes the angle steeper. So I guess if I do need to come up closer, I can. I'm not near the yoke on the axle. I'm probably 5 inches from that. So if I wanted to come forward another inch, I could. I don't want to because that changes. I want as long of an arc on the axle as I can. If you have a very short arc, it starts to pull your front as your wheels articulate down. They're going to come forward. So I would prefer to have longer arms because that gives me a longer arc so that you don't notice the wheelbase shortening as you're lifted up and let it down. So I'm gonna get something sorted out with these mounts right here, and we'll just we'll come back in the next one and try to start figuring out what our angle is. And if we got the proper angle, we'll be good to go. Tack some mounts in on top of the axle here. So I'm pretty stoked about that. Oh, alrighty. So, all right. So it's been a day or so since we set this guy in here, and I walk by this thing every morning on my way out of the house when I'm headed to work. So, and it's been a day or so. I've been busy. It's been a day or so since I've been able to work on it, but I keep walking by it and I keep staring at it every morning, looking at it. And the more that I look at it, I was like, man, I don't know that those link arms are really going to be long enough to suit me. So let's get a little idea here what we're looking for. Like I said, I haven't had much of a chance to mess with it, but get one of my hand joints here. Stick that guy in there. I don't know if y'all remember the tombstones that I cut. So the other day, I did go ahead and make a couple of short tombstones because I'm going to have to get up on the axle housing with one of them in order to be able to get this gigantic heim joint on here the way that I want. So, see, I got the shorter one to the inside here. So, kind of set this guy up here in a rough idea of kind of what I'm thinking here. I'm going to kind of angle it at the cross member a little bit. That way the heim joint is running, you know, kind of as straight as it possibly can be. I mean, technically it really doesn't matter because it's riding on a ball anyway. So, you know, not really the end of the world one way or the other, but if I can make it run straight and it doesn't hurt anything, why would I not, right? I mean, so right here, just looking at it, this looks like it's going to be actually a really short arm. Like just roughly looking at it, looks like it's going to be 16 and a half or 17 inches. That's a short bar. With only that short of an arc, the axle is going to really want to roll forward a lot as it articulates. And I don't know, it really congests everything right here the more I look at it. So I got to kind of thinking about what I would like bar length wise, and for no particular reason other than it just seems like a good round number and I kind of like the length. I was thinking about 2 feet, 24 inches. I think if I had a 24-inch bar, I think it's going to give me a nice long arc of travel for my rear end here. And it's going to kind of uncongest this area a little bit. So I'll have to move my cross member forward, which also gives me even more clearance on my drive shaft because the more you come forward, that drive shaft goes down the whole way. It's got a carrier bearing right there and it's hanging down almost past the bottoms of the frame rails. So let's go on and move this guy back, see what we're looking at now. I did cheat. I did go ahead and move it back the other day and make some marks. That way it's a little easier for me to line up for y'all here. So, in order to get it where I wanted, I had to move it way on back here. Left me some marks here, that way I could come on back and line it up. Now you can see I moved it back quite a bit. I don't know, it's probably at least 8 inches or so, which is funny. You had to move it back that far to kind of get what I wanted here. But I think you will agree that it is a much nicer look by and large. This is a piece of PVC pipe that I went and grabbed at Home Depot. It's not gonna work like that. Luckily they sell it in a 2-foot section, so, all right, that just fell off. Luckily they sell it in 2-foot sections, so I could buy it, but man alive, PVC has gotten so expensive right now. $8 for a stupid little 2-foot section of it right here. But this gives you an idea with the, there we go. That is pretty close to centered right there. And let's see here, push it forward just a little bit. Yeah, see how much nicer that arm looks? I mean, got a nice, lot longer arc of travel here. It really uncongests this area a lot. That way, you know, it clears up a little more room for the drive shaft, things to move around here. I like the look of this. This is what I'm gonna go with. I like this a lot better. So what I've got to do in the bottom of this tombstone right here, the one that goes on the axle tube, I gotta kind of cut a little arc in the bottom of it so it'll sit down nice and flush on the axle tube. Right now, it's sitting with a little bit of a lean to it, which I really don't hate because it kind of gives me a little bit more clearance to my frame rail over here. And it allows me to position just a little bit farther out, which, you know, is nice. I can move this guy out just a little bit right here if I want. Whereas if it were, if I just mounted it straight up and down, it would be really close to get the angle that I want. And my hind joints are running, you know, somewhat, they're running somewhat straight. Well, they were, until I did that. Even my dog heard it upstairs. Let's see, let me get this back together here. Alrighty. Here. That guy there. Alright, now, back to where we were before I so rudely knocked it all off. So now, I already know just from looking at it that I've got plenty of angle for my 4-link here. I've got plenty of triangulation, but I will go ahead and check it right quick just so, you know, you guys can see how I'm gonna do it here. So I got this guy right here. No frills, no thrills, but we'll get it done. I mean, now granted, I am just kind of roughly eyeballing it, but I forgot to turn it on. Even roughly eyeballing it, I can get it close enough here. Let's see here. Yeah, see right there, that is, I'm showing 26 degrees right there, which is more than enough. So it's more than enough triangulation. Like I said, I was looking at a minimum of 20 degrees, and I can still add a little bit to that if I want to. So that's going to be plenty. I'm also going to have the lower links triangulate out just a little bit too. So should be just fine with that. So I'm really happy with this. Happy enough that I'm going to weld in. I'm going to go ahead and pull this off. I'm going to final weld this bracket all together on the inside and weld it to the cross member here. And like I said, I've already got it marked, measured and marked here where the cross member is going to go on the truck. So next up, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to cut us a little notch in our tombstones right here so it will sit down nice. The one that sits up here on the frame rail, I might actually try to the same length and just see if I can get it on the outside of the housing here and go all the way down to the axle tube. I might try that right quick. If so, I'll kind of show you what I'm going to do here. So we're just going to do that right now. I might even have one on the workbench over here. Let me go see right quick. Hang tight. Ooh, I do. All right. I actually do have two. This might be really good. These are shorter though. Okay. I did not make a shorter one. I made a longer one because these are all short already. So I can still try it though. Let's see here. See if I can get it, keep it all from falling apart here like it did last time. And that went well. course, I flipped it around and put it with the side with the damn bolt sticking out. Or the nut. Let's see what we got here. No, that's not gonna work. Because the bolt is touching the side right there. So I'm actually gonna leave that thing tall like that, kind of angled in. That actually works a lot better for me, really. Who would have thought? Complete accident, me just leaving that a little bit long actually works out. Being able to turn that at an angle and sit that up on here just that little bit. That makes all the difference. That's pretty nice, actually. Okay, so what I'm going to do from here then, so I'm going to have to go ahead and get these set at 90 degrees to the ground, tack them in place, get that one over there. You know what? I forgot about something. The vehicle right now is sitting at full bump. It is as low as I can get it. And when I was lowering this thing down, the little skateboard that the axle is sitting on is hitting the skid plate for the fuel tank. So the actual axle is actually slid forward 1.5 or 2 inches inside the frame right now. So what I need to do, I know everything clears. That was the whole point of dropping it down to full bump, was to make sure that everything cleared with the drive shaft and whatnot. So we've got that figured. So what I need to do right now is jack this thing back up, put it at ride height, which is going to be about 4.5, 5 inches up from where it is right now. So that's what we need to do. I like to really screw it up, y'all. So let's lift this thing up, and I gotta air up the front, put jack stands under it, and then we'll just jack up the back, get the jack stands under it, and we'll be good to go. All right, hey, made some good progress in this one. You kind of start seeing things starting to take shape and lay out a bit anyway. Seeing how the cross member is going to fit in there, everything kind of interlocks, and that way we're able to kind of really tie it all in good. Coming together nice. Still got a whole lot of work to go, but it does all come together real good, and you just have to kind of come back and see in the next one, and we'll keep plugging away at this thing and get the back end of this thing wrapped up, hopefully sooner than later. So see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching to the end, and I appreciate it. Subscribe if you get the chance, or don't. Come back and watch. I appreciate it either way. If you think I'm an idiot, come back and hate watch. I like that too. Bye.